engineering bay coming up. So Dark Templar probably won't be terribly effective, especially since he has his academy. He could easily get a scanning facility, which I'm surprised he does not. Sorry, a ComSat station. I'm really surprised he doesn't have that. But that's, I mean, probably a smart move. He can keep producing SCVs rather than stopping that. But that one tank, even if Cytospawn decides to move in here, that tank alone is enough to make him rethink that plan. But we'll see. So Cytospawn has expanded, which will put him economically ahead of his opponent. I'm not really sure who has more workers at this point, but I'm guessing Cytospawn because his supply is so much higher. We got 38 to 29, so about 10 higher, with 2 siege tanks and such. I feel confident that Cytospawn probably has more workers at this point. Let's look at the saturation. The only thing is SCVs are so much bigger, but I think so. Science facility on the way. Now that is interesting. I would not expect to see it. Okay, so Cytospawn does try to move out here, or just try to send one zealot up the line to see what happens. It does escape with its life, but it's going to report, guys, don't do that. Unless he wants to play a practical joke on them or something. Realizes that that's probably not a good idea, so they'll stay there and ensure that that expansion is delayed as long as possible. But he has not, Cytospawn has not let Kyle know that his units are here, which is important because Kyle will be afraid, not afraid, but hesitant to move out if he knows there's units in front of his base. So Cytospawn is exerting map control. Citadel of Adun has finished. Zealot Lakes is on the way, and a Stargate is on the way. I'm guessing that would be for scouts to deal with the siege tanks. That's the best way I can think of it. Unless he decides to do some weird Corsair disruption web action, which could be helpful against missile turrets as well. A covert ops. Wow. Maybe nukes? I mean, that's the only thing I can think of. Ghosts. I was about to say EMP, but I realized this is Brood War, not StarCraft 2, and Ghosts do not have EMP. That comes from science vessels. I have no idea. We will see if he does decide to go nukes. He does have a ComSat station, so if he does want to go nukes, he is going to have to expand, which is really important. I've just never seen nukes effectively used. So we will see what he does. As soon as Cytospawn sees that, I am positive he will go for some sort of detection. He does not have a Robo Bay though, so if Kyle keeps that under wraps and nukes this Expo, for example, once it's got fully saturated, that could be a really big deal. So Stargate finished, second Stargate almost finished with a cannon to protect it just from anything cheesy or whatever. Probably going for scouts. That's what makes the most sense to me. There is a dropship coming down here. Probably just checking out the weather. But these Dragoons are not going to let it get away. The Zealots are just along for the ride to get blasted by siege tanks. And now they will all back up as one Zealot unfortunately does die. So what siege tank got that? That's a siege tank. He gets to hold that over all his other enemies. I got first blood, haha. Other than the workers at the beginning, but those don't count, as we all know. Scouts don't count. So 2 scouts on the way for Cytospawn. He is trying to saturate this expansion. He's not put anything into this gas yet, but he's just keeping his minerals and gas pretty even. Scouts are pretty expensive. 275 gas. I mean 275 minerals, and I think 125 gas. I'm not sure on that. He's going to build a command center here and I guess lift it off, which was smart. I didn't even see him start that, which is really smart because he has his units to kick out of here and he wants to take advantage of this expansion as soon as he can. So he's probably going to try and kick these units out pretty soon here. But he's probably going to wait until he has... Oh, never mind. I thought he was probably building a shuttle, or not a shuttle, a dropship to carry these siege tanks down here, but we'll see how he takes care of that. So Cytospawn building the scouts, like I said, to take out those tanks, which is really important for a Protoss player to do, because those tanks are so tough to take out. He does have Zealot legs, so if he had enough Zealots, he could outmass them. He is building a couple Zealots here. or a zealot and a couple dragoons on the way. But you have to have so many zealots, and you take so much damage before you ever even get to the tanks that it's usually pretty dangerous. These 2 marines, hopefully not being sent to their death. He does have 4 medics, which is a good number, but I don't know, we'll see. These dragoons just kind of walking up here. Oh, can I snipe these? Nope, I should probably... Nah, I'm just gonna die. It's more fun that way, right? So, oh, got both kills. Kill steal tank. So putting a pylon here, probably just put some defenses up over there. So 2 scouts. Not sure when he's gonna put those into action or anything. This has been lifted off. Leads me to believe he probably is going to be moving in soon. But he isn't indicating that at all. So let's speed this up just a little bit. We wait for him to do something. Speed it up again. So these scouts are going to move around. So, oh, now there's a siege tank over here, forcing these over here. And Cytospawn now realizes there's no safe place for me. This was a genius move by Kyle, forcing those units out of there. They can't really stay because they can't fight that tank, but they can't really move anywhere because of those things. They might have been able to hide just a little over here, but they really, if these marines and medics moved out and just kept kiting these units up into these tanks, eventually there wouldn't have been a whole lot that Cytospawn could have done. So we will still prevent Kyle from moving out of his natural, but it will allow him to gain his natural, which is really important considering that Cytospawn has been ahead with this base for so long. Speed this up again. Scouts on the way, more zealots. Probably thinking, well, dragoons are good and all, but they're fat and not real good against tanks. Robotics facility on the way. See how that comes into play. Again, this is just a little faster just to keep things going. So a nuclear silo is on the way. This will be really interesting. No ghost on the way though, which is kind of ironic. But there's a science vessel. And science vessels, as we know, can be quite fun as a Terran player, especially if you EMP the Protoss player. Especially with nukes, if you EMP, normally it takes 2 nukes to kill a Nexus, but if you EMP it first, you take out half of its life, and then 1 nuke will take it out easy. So that's probably part of his plan. And he also probably just wants to keep an eye on these units, making sure they don't do anything funky. We'll see how long it takes Cytospawn to realize that there's nukes on the way. If he doesn't realize it in time, he could get seriously hurt here. Easily get nuked on this expansion. Because that cannon's so close, he might even be able to get the nuke right about here, I think, without being sighted if he has the long sight ghost upgrade. And if he gets the nuke right here, that'll take out all of these probes. And if he gets the EMP off, it'll take out all these buildings too. So we will see how that happens. The nuke silo is now done, and still no ghost on the way. Lots of marines going pretty standard. Interesting. You'd think if he was getting a nuclear silo, but Cytospawn's going to move up here, and which will allow him to see this nuclear silo, which is vital, absolutely vital. I think he saw it there. I'm not positive, but he needs to know about that because he definitely wants to be able to have this protected. Because this would be a perfect spot to land a ghost up here, or anywhere along here, really. Or just like I said, if you come up over here, come up on that ramp and walk the ghost up, you can just nuke this area and be sitting pretty right there. So these units are not going to retreat because they know that all these marines are probably too much for them to deal with. There's an engineering bay down here. He floated his engineering bay down there, I guess, to help block it off, which I guess is smart. Probably filling this up with marines and doing a drop, I would assume. He now has a Wraith just patrolling the field looking for expansions, whereas Cytospawn is doing the same thing with observers, which he loves to do. an army of observers, as he says. So Cytospawn